How Long Gone, Super Tuesday from Money Making Manhattan. Them jeans was really good.
You sound kind of different, Chris. Are you in a different location than normal?
I'm in one of my padded cells that does help your job, apparently, according to you.
According to everyone, not just me. I'm not the only audiophile on Spotify.
That's
but yeah, I'm doing. Or maybe I am.
You could. I think the audio files are over on Tidal, so that's why. That's why I said.
Can you listen to How Long Gone on Tidal? Actually, never bothered to check. Yeah, I'm good. Just finished my little hot girl dog walk, and researching our guests today. Just another day in paradise. I got a Substack dinner tonight. If I finish all my homework, I get to go to.
What do you mean? Substack is a platform. How do they have a dinner?
Different brands will sometimes have IRL activations. I think you've been to some J. Crew dinners, maybe. Same kind of vibe.
So you're saying that they're taking it offline. They're taking the subscription model to the family style table. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's going to be a place where communities can be built.
Okay. Where is this dinner? At a private home in the Hollywood Hills of a Substacker, or is this at a restaurant?
It's at Stella, West Hollywood. The restaurant whose name that you are upset about.
Well, there's already a restaurant with that name. It's not. I'm upset about it. It's just fact. But are they going to charge you?
I just think it's crazy.
Is there going to be a $5 entry fee, kind of to keep in line with Substack's kind of approach, or do you think it's free?
Yeah, I think the bill will just be automatically taken out of my credit card at the end of the month.
That's so
Unless
funny.
I do a really good job networking, and then this one will be free. It's a little pay for play.
They should charge everyone $5 for the dinner, not make it free. That's really funny.
Honestly, that'd be like a fun little thing. It could go viral.
It could go viral. So, do you think you're going to meet other creators that you're going to get along with, or do you think it's going to be a dork fest?
You never really know because we've been to a lot of media dinners. They can be the only place where I want to hang out with, or they could be a slice of hell, depending on what the situation is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying optimistic. I'm hoping that we're gonna have a dope crowd.
I have faith.
But you know me, I can entertain myself.
Same, bro.
That's
why I bring my fidget spinner to every dinner.
Yeah, I'll be showing up Miranda July book under my armpit just in case I need to pull that thing out.
I'll pull
and entertain myself.
You guys are boring. I'm about to pull that thing out. I went to a dinner last night. Rita's did a dinner last night at Tiwa in Tribeca, and I went to
Cheeky Rita's.
I went to this gathering, and I had something I'd never had before that I wanted to talk to you about. And it was like a Gabe did a version of Welsh Rarebit that was with pimento cheese. And let me tell you what, boy, it slapped. It slapped.
Wow, it's almost like he made it for you, right?
It felt, I mean, look, their menus always has a little southern flair, but this in particular felt catered to me, like I was walking to the 18th green of the Masters.
I guess it does have a little southern flair, isn't that something?
Pimento cheese is but it was delicious. The food is great, but that in particular stood out to me.
Damn, that's pretty sick. I wonder which ale he used for the Welsh Rarebit. You may have consumed a little alcohol. It burned off, don't worry.
It has the Worcestershire sauce on top as well, which is a flavor that I don't usually partake in.
Yeah, I actually had a banging little Welsh Rarebit that you would not eat if you knew what it was, but if you just blindfoldedly took a bite of it, you'd be really keen on it.
What was in it?
It was a smoked eel Welsh Rarebit that I had at a restaurant in Barcelona called Igueldo.
What's up with all the eel lately? Put those motherfuckers back in the ocean. Why is there eel? And I had eel when I went to Omakase with Cho. Course 13 was eel, and it's like uni. I don't need it. It's not terrible. I don't need it.
Right. Yeah, I guess what was usually when you get the eel in a in a sushi setting, it's kind of like broiled with an eel sauce, little caramelized.
Yeah,
kind of vibe.
I think that's what it was. I mean, by that time, I was just eating the bite that was put in front of me. I wasn't really asking any questions to the chef.
But some of the first courses, you were asking questions from the chef. Did you get this one from Santa Barbara or Hokkaido?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if it comes down
to this
this
bluefin came in from Boston, wouldn't you know it?
If I don't ask the origin of the uni, did I even have a meal? is kind of how I look at it. If I don't know where the
don't make fun of me.
If I don't know where the uni,
my culture is not your costume.
If I don't know where the uni came from, it ain't touching these sweet little lips. I'll tell you that. That's a goddamn promise.
It's not funny. It's not a funny joke. That's how I live my life. I'm surprised that you went to omakase though. What did Cho do to convince you to go to one of your most nightmarish locales?
I don't know, man. I'm actually, as I age, I think I'm becoming more open-minded to trying things that I once wrote off. I think I've had some pretty fantastic tasting menus in the last year, and omakase is it's also, I know it's, it's $100 and it's affordable, and it doesn't take that long. So that kind of felt good. But Cho wanted to go.
So you like it when a dinner is short.
That's right.
You're a short din man. Is that what?
Yeah.
One could say.
I want to come in at 7, leave at 8. It's like How Long Gone Live, baby. A tight hour.
Sorry, ladies, he's taking.
Tight.
Sorry, ladies, he's taking.
I'm so fun. But last night at the dinner, I sat next to a new friend who I've actually never met, Despot.
Oh, okay. Friend of the show, Despot.
And I have to say, there might not be a greater table, like a neighbor at a group dinner that I've ever experienced. Seatmate. Yeah, it was really something. He kept Alex and I on our toes for at least a half hour.
Okay.
It was great.
And when you say on your toes, you mean having a laugh and a good time?
Yeah, having a laugh. He's got having a laugh, having a good time. It was a fun. It's fun to meet new people and for them to deliver.
Oh, this is why we network, brother.
This is why we network.
What was your dinner last night again?
It was Rita's at Tiwa.
Oh yeah, Rita's. That's right.
Yeah. But
Rita's at Tiwa.
They had done it at Time Again, which is his bar that is turned into like the wildest scene in New York, where there's 400 people outside, like it's a British pub with the football on.
Yeah, what's going on with that spot? I've been hearing people talking about it.
There's no. I don't really know. I don't know. I think sometimes things just work. I mean, it'd been there for a while, and they tried.
So it's like, for our listeners at home, it's like a small bar somewhere in the East Side, Dime Square, I'm assuming, and then it spills out to hundreds of cool young people drinking and smoking on the sidewalk and the streets. Yes,
exactly. But it's a lot of people. I haven't been yet because it starts after my bedtime usually. But it does seem like something that I will eventually have to check out, maybe against my will. But yeah, it's a real scene. It's a real scene. I think that anytime people can stand outside in New York and drink, they'll kind of do whatever it takes to participate in that. Yeah. That's just what.
Yeah, I guess it's also kind of like single people activity. Like you go there because you're trying to have sex with other people.
Yeah, you're trying to find another freak
with new strangers
who's wearing all 90s thrift store clothes and drinking a beer. Sounds great to me.
At a certain time, it did sound great, didn't it, Chris?
Not that exactly, but yeah, sure. Something in that neighborhood, I would say, did sound good. So do you think you're really worried about this flight stuff? I feel like I'm not even hearing that much about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I pay more attention to Delta and flight stuff than you might, or just that's just what the news is feeding me. But yeah, it's a huge nationwide thing.
Yeah, but I feel like we're
ATL is completely shut down. People have been living at Hartsfield Jackson. They've been living there for 4 days now.
You're saying that Hartsfield Jackson Airport is not operational? I don't really believe that.
For Delta,
I just wonder. I feel like this is all a little overblown. That's all.
I hope you're right, but 50% takeoff rate is 50% takeoff rate. But finally today, the Department of Transportation has stepped in, and now they're investigating.
Pete Buttigieg coming in. He's saying, "I'm back, baby." He's flying high off his Bill Maher appearance. He's ready to crack the whip.
Look, I mean, I will have anyone go in and try to clean up. Go to Delta and ask them if they've restarted their computers yet. Do whatever you got to do to get me, because I got 4 flights this weekend. And if 50% of flights are taking off, then I don't love those odds.
I've looked at that.
But we'll see.
I've looked at the app. It's fine. Everything
works.
But
you got a layover. We both have layovers.
No.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't show. The app hasn't updated anything.
I don't have a layover. It's like an hour flight. It's super close.
Okay.
But you have a layover, but it's not in Atlanta, so it could be worse.
My layover's in Detroit. I know this is exciting podcasting for all of our listeners at home. Sorry. You guys like the minutia of it though. A Delta meltdown. Luckily I don't have any checked luggage, so that'll help.
It'll be fine.
But,
We're gonna be fine.
I gotta be at the airport, or I'm getting picked up at 3:30.
3:30 for what? The flight's at 8:30.
5:30.
It's 5:30 your time. Okay. I'm sorry. It says 8:30.
There's a 3-hour time difference from the West Coast and the East Coast.
It says 8. it says 8.
You got to forget to carry the 3.
I'm so stupid.
I know that
I'm sorry.
You fly a lot, but
I'm sorry. It shows 8
sometimes.
because I get the updates and it shows 8:30 in my phone because that's, you know what I mean. So that's my bad. All right,
girl.
All right. So we'll see.
You take it up with Vic if you have a problem with those pickup
I would
times,
never
right?
take it up with Vic. Shout out to the big dog.
That's what I thought.
I miss him.
You thought.
I miss him. We have a guest today. August Thompson is his name. He has a new book called Anyone's Ghost that I read last month. It was excellent. Very, very good book that is out now, I believe.
People are calling it the dirt bag. Call me by your name. Do you think that's a good?
Is it
good title,
wow.
Chris? A good nickname?
Honestly, sure. I mean, that's very marketable. I'm sure August likes that because they can turn that into a TV show or a film.
Sure. Are people optioning books now?
That's kind of the point of writing a book, I believe.
Let's chat about that
at this stage. I think that's the only.
That on Monday.
Let's chat about it. We'll ask. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay, let's give August a jingle.
Yo, you hear us?
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was absolutely entranced by where you both were stuck with your flights. What's going on with Delta? I don't want to talk about the book at all. Let's dial it back because
don't worry. We weren't going to talk about the book. If you want to talk about Delta, we can do a full 45. That's no problem.
So you wrote a book?
Yeah, man. I wrote a book. Yeah.
We'll get to that next episode.
You look great. Your hair looks good. Nice head of hair on this young man.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but I do have a great head of hair, so thank you. Yeah, it's good for the listeners to know. Yeah.
Thank you, because they know that I'm sensitive about that kind of thing. So I'm glad that you kind of kept it to yourself.
I think it's sexy when a guy has confidence in his hair.
I'm just an understanding and loving dude, so I would never bring anyone down. I just let the hair do the talking. So
I guess it'd be weird if I met an August that wasn't like that. You know what I mean? If you have a name like August, that type of personality is kind of built in, right?
Yeah, you got to be kind of leonine. I mean, it's a name that has really paid off with dividends because as a kid, God, did I get shit on? But now it kind of tricks people into thinking I'm interesting, and then I let them down like 20 minutes later. But the opening is great. People are sort of enchanted by the idea.
Why were people shitting on you for having this name? I know it's an unusual name, but it's not like Bitch Thompson.
It's a word we know as a society. It's a recognized phrase.
Right.
Term,
it's not like,
you know what I mean? It's
does
not
it rhyme with something?
No, it's more like, I mean, I'm 32, so this was before the era of like being called like Apple or Door or Brixton or whatever. So having a weird name, and I'm from the boonies in New Hampshire originally. So like, it was a bunch of like Daniels and whatever, just nice normal.
You're coming for I see.
They were coming for me, yeah.
No, you're coming for us right now. You're coming for the names from the Bible Hive, and that's something that we kind of stand for over here at How Long Gone.
I came on this podcast to come for everyone. So this is just the beginning. Yeah.
Sure. Everyone listens. Okay, but you lived in New York. I mean, sorry, you lived in Los Angeles when you were growing up at some point, right?
I was there from 11 to the end of high school, but I would sort of shuttle back and forth, which also happens in the book. Though the book is sadly not autobiographical, but I am a Samo High alumni.
It's not
really?
August.
It feels pretty autobiographical.
It's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it feels pretty autobiographical. There's got to be
the character. Well, he does have a great head of hair. No, I think like the writing the book, a lot of it was like wish fulfillment because my life was I was like a huge nerd and I did not have sex in high school and I did not really have any like romantic. I had a lot of failures, a lot of yearning, and so I was like, how can I make that into the dirtbag Call Me by Your Name? That's what I thought as I sat down.
But now I can imagine you're out here fucking. You're doing quite well for yourself now.
Listen, those are your words, and they will be on the back of the paperback of the book. Yeah, August Thompson is out here fucking.
August Thompson, his dick hasn't been dry since publish day.
Since publishing day, we're good to go. So you kind of grew up in California, which is a pretty stark contrast from New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was a hard swing. My parents just thought, let's keep it spicy. Let's not make it too easy on him. So yeah, I mean, I'm from a town of like 2,000 in New Hampshire, and then we moved to Santa Monica.
Luckily, you moved to August country.
I moved to August country. Yeah. Suddenly, I was one of Legion. I wasn't just the guy.
You weren't in Downey where they're gonna call you an F slur. They're like, sit with the other 3 Augusts over there for your
you met up with the 3 other Augusts at the 3rd Street Promenade after school every day. It was kind of a go-to for you.
Yeah, we ate bad pizza.
I brought kimchi for lunch too.
Yeah, it was great, man. No, you're both you've been LA pilled at some points in your lives, right? So one of you lives in LA, or you're both in LA. Remind me.
Jason's lifelong California.
I'm not LA pilled, baby. I fill the prescriptions. I'm Pfizer to this bitch.
I like LA, but I don't. I'd rather live in New York.
You don't partake. That's what you're saying.
No, I partake. I'm a homeowner.
Oh, okay.
I pay taxes. Yeah, so it's not.
You're partaking. That's for sure.
Get the hell off my property.
Yeah, I'm partaking more than I would like to financially. But no, it's a beautiful place.
Chris loves Los Angeles.
He
just can't live there full time forever. He's bi-coastal at the end of the day.
It's just a little too boring for me. I need the action.
Yeah,
of the Big Apple.
I mean, I don't want to lose any sales in LA, so we can just bleep out what's to follow. No, I really like it there. I just, I think it's hard loving where you grow up inherently. Like, that's been a big part of me learning my shit and trying to get better as I get older. But I don't know, man. It's just kind of, the car thing is tough. This is like the least interesting thing in the world to say, but the car thing is very tough for me.
What, you don't like driving, or you can't afford a sick whip?
Basically both.
So you growing up in the super walkable metropolis of New Hampshire, you did not need a car at all, right?
The Subaru stayed in the garage. You didn't even have to bring it out.
100%. Yeah. No, I would just sort of piggyback the largest boy and tell him to go northeast, west, or south. That's how we got around.
Where you heading, big fella?
Yeah.
I hope we're going in the same direction.
Delaware's as far as I'll take you.
I think, but New Hampshire's pretty charming, right? I feel like that's a place that's like pretty romanticized in the Northeast.
It's pretty beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievably beautiful. I'm obviously biased. It's extremely, extremely weird. I mean, like, I'm from real, like, what is now Trump country, and the people are very sweet.
Okay, welcome home, brother. Welcome home, brother. Yeah. Welcome home.
It'll be a big few months for my people.
You were part of the groundswell.
I couldn't tell if that was your AirPod or a Band-Aid on your ear, so I'm glad to know that it is in fact a Band-Aid. I'm glad to know.
I'm so glad I had a good 2-week career, because this is obviously the end of it. So thank you both for bearing me. Yeah, I mean, New Hampshire's, it's wonderful, but it is a weird place, and there's just not a lot if you don't like the nature game. If you can't appreciate God's beauty, then get your ass out of it.
Chris usually stays out of the nature game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like nature. I don't like nature very much, but I guess that sometimes, like, this happened to me recently. I went to Aspen and I was like, oh, this is nature. This is like pretty unbelievable. So I think if it's the right high level nature, I can respect it for 48 hours or less.
I feel that. Were you seeing this from the cabin window as you, like, sort of lounge?
I was seeing it from the very expensive hotel suite. That was, and I was just sucking on oxygen, staring out the window, and that was kind of.
I think what Chris is saying is he loves nature as long as the people who live in and around it are more wealthy or as wealthy as him. He's found a way to attach a dollar sign to nature. Something that's truly uninfluenceable by it, except for its destruction, and he's found a way to attach a price tag to it. So,
if you don't ski,
are there really rich people in New Hampshire?
Oh,
you got ballers over there.
There are. Mitt Romney has a house on the big lake, we call it. So, if you know of a bigger baller than Mitt Romney, then call me up.
He's our future DNC candidate, according to Sorkin, right?
baseball Mitt Romney lives on the big lake?
Yeah, I mean, he's living the Aaron Sorkin dream. He's just out there during the summers. Yeah, it's good.
Does he have kids and shit that you've tangled with or nah?
You fucked a couple Romneys?
I used to ride one of them piggyback up north.
Right. I used to ride him to class, not sexually.
You haven't lived till you fucked a Romney, I always said.
How many kids does Romney have?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it's got to be a few. He's got the Mormon thing.
Are any of them hot? I mean, if they're Mormon, they should be. Mormons are, besides Brandon Flowers, I can name 3 other hot Mormons.
Chris, out of the 3 of us on this conversation, you're the one who's most likely to know about Mitt Romney's family.
You know Joe Biden.
August and I are both artists. We don't know about this stuff.
You know that Joe Biden has that hot niece. Is it his niece, Jason, that we were talking about yesterday?
I'm not exactly sure.
Was she recently revealed? Yeah, to be attractive.
She got arrested. She got arrested for like credit card fraud, which is so hot. I mean, that's like the coolest thing you can do. But yeah, I think I can't remember who she is, but she's a Biden, and
I saw that she was
the biggest disappointment.
She had to be evicted from her apartment for not paying rent by the police, and then they had to like strap her into a gurney and throw a sheet over her head as they took her to jail.
I mean,
so she sounds cool.
That's swinging for the leftist vote, like landlords are evil. She said no. She said no way.
She looks like, for a city girl, she's spent a lot of time on the lake. Is kind of her vibe. You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. I mean, but this is the biggest disappointment with Biden dropping out of the race, is that she's going to get a little less Daily Mail time for me. So that's, you can't win them all.
Yeah, just copy paste, screenshot. You'll be good.
I didn't know. I don't think I've ever been to New Hampshire, but I assumed there was some sort of heavy hitters from the area, because there's heavy hitters from everywhere now.
I would say the average of heavy hitters is perhaps lower than other places, but we got our Seth Meyers gang. We got our Adam Sandler.
Is Seth having you on the show?
We're leading with Meyers. Okay.
For some reason, Seth is not interested in having an obscure novelist on his show. But you know what? Shout out to our New Hampshire boys. We love them no matter what. I think it's beautiful.
You're holding it down for the squad. I didn't know Seth. Seth does strike me as, he kind of strikes me as New Hampshire-ish. I'm not meaning that as a diss. It's just he's clearly not from anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Well, the fact that you think it could be interpreted as a diss says a lot about your perspective on New Hampshire. But yeah,
no. I love all the beautiful states of this country. I'm a fucking.
It's a very good point, August. Very good point.
I don't want you to forget that you're talking to 2 patriots. Jason's from Orange County, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's right, bitch.
Hey, you're keeping up the good fight, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it, boys.
He is keeping up the good fight.
Yeah,
he really is.
You better stop drinking out of that dang mason jar, that libtard mason jar over there.
This was just maple syrup.
It was just
yeah. Stop drinking out of your Drake's Tears mason jar filled with the Master Cleanse.
Yeah, I don't want to be too cliche, so I emptied it of spit and molasses. But yeah,
that's good. That's really nice. That's really nice of you. That's really smart.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about in the intro about your book being called a dirtbag. Call Me by Your Name, and you made a little aside comment about that, but do you feel like that aligns with what you did? Are you offended by that title, or are you cool with it?
My SEO is so happy. So I think I'm not offended whatsoever. I mean, Call Me by Your Name, how could you hate on it? Especially Luca Guadagnino's adaptation. Love it.
Wait, there was a book?
I think my book was more concerned with masculinity and platonic relationships on top of romance. So I would say it's a little bit different. But
you make us wait a long time for the romance to drop. Kind of, you edge us for 250 pages. You know what I mean? So it's
so much edging. I know it's cruel of me, but
Call Me by Your Name was good, and everybody kind of agrees that it's good, and it's pretty well liked overall. So I don't see a downside to that.
I think it's a total win.
But I guess in Call Me by Your Name, August, I have not read your book. My apologies, but I've looked at your playlist on Spotify, so I think I know everything there is to know about the book. But
yeah, you get it.
Call Me by Your Name. It's guys laying around reading and enjoying philosophy and interesting independent music, and then your book is a little bit more on the where we're getting fucked up and listening to Metallica in a parking lot, and maybe maybe I'll touch your dick in chapter 17 kind of vibe.
God, that was just like for someone. It sounds like you have read it. Honestly,
5 stars on Goodreads.
Yeah, I was gonna say type that all out for his Goodreads review. That's actually that's gonna go up. That's gonna help you out.
Yeah, I would say it's less fancy boy than Call Me by Your Name. A lot more chain smoking, a lot more Walmart, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I think part of the reason it spoke to me is
getting a chub right now
is because I grew up in the South, so some of that stuff is recognizable. I didn't really do that. I mean, I've never look, just to be clear, I've never jerked a guy off, but I'm just saying that I've been to Walmart. I've been, the idea of sitting in parking lots is such a part of like the American kind of teenage experience, but I feel like it is. Did you do that, Jason, or is that more Southern in my mind?
We did hang out in parking lots, but I think in the South or in the more, New Hampshirean places, the Walmart parking lot is sort of the big show and the only show. Mm-hmm. Whereas we were able to diversify our parking lots all over Orange County. So whatever flavor we were feeling. So we did have a little superiority complex going on. But this was all before we had those freaking iPads and Candy Crush, right, guys?
Of course. Because you're a little bit younger than us, but what era does this take place in, really?
Like early, the first section is in 2004, and then 2012 during Hurricane Sandy, and then like 2019. Yeah. So it's cut in 3 and kind of jumps throughout time. But I don't know exactly how old you guys are, but this is it's an early auth book.
We're in our early 40s, so there's a lot of relatable, like a lot of the music references and stuff were really spot on for the time period,
Yeah, and I think, they're both metalheads, they're both like rock dudes, and so I think after like 1981, there was just sort of this like pan fandom of everyone liking the same 50 bands when you're like 16, because, other than like Slipknot, I don't know what the early 2000s really brought us.
The Strokes?
Wait, are you into heavy rock yourself?
I am into heavy rock myself, yeah.
Like what kind of heavy rock are we talking about?
Well, I'll answer this question because, like I said, I checked out your Spotify playlist, and according to you, August, Metallica is your favorite band. Chris does not like them or understand them. So how, August, if you could convince a gay man to like Metallica, I'd give you the floor.
I don't think I could ever convince someone to like Metallica because you're either in or you're not. And if you find them corny, it's DOA. Like there's simply no coming back from that.
Now DOA I like. DOA I like. So that's weird that you say that.
Sitting right there.
I mean they're a corny band, but I just think got into them when I was like 13. So everything's rad when you're 13.
This is what I was going to say. I think that everybody I know that likes Metallica, that's like our general age, it's because it was maybe the first CD they bought, kind of shit. Like I was 12 or I was 13, and that's like it's kind of cemented.
But our age, Chris, the first Metallica CD you buy is either like the Black Album or something earlier, and then August's generation and beyond. There's been 20 awful, unlistenable Metallica albums in the last 20 years, and it's very highly possible that could be their entry point.
Well, I have to ask because I remember the major turning point for Metallica was the documentary. I feel like that was a major turning point where people were like, "Oh, these guys suck." Like it was like you should not have opened the curtain. Like
that's when the world all realized that they sucked, but metalheads knew. I would say the real, or I don't know if August you're in the same boat that I am, but sort of the before Christ, after death moment is the Black Album. Anything before that, thumbs up. Anything after that, thumbs down. And it's debatable on if the Black Album itself has held up.
Is that fair? Is that fair to say, August?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I mean, I basically only listen to those. I like the Black Album, but I like pop music, so it makes sense that it's like a pop version of Metallica, which is two of my sad little hobbies. The documentary I adore. I think it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I can't say it makes them seem cool, but it's really fucking funny. And one of my favorite moments in film is when Lars' dad listens to the record Saint Anger, which sucks. And I think everyone in the world knows it sucks.
Yeah.
And Lars is like, what should we do? And Lars' dad is like super Danish. He's like, you should throw this in the garbage and no one should ever hear it. It's just like,
damn, that's cool.
It's
that's
so
really
rad.
cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I admire they did that. I think it shows they're just so disconnected and so rich that they were like, yeah, this is a great idea. We'll put our therapy
peek behind the curtain.
I actually agree with you 100% on that. I like the fact that they're so disconnected from reality that they thought that would work. That makes me almost want to see it. But I can't.
Oh, you've not seen it?
Never seen it. I just, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, all that kind of shit, I just don't like. Never liked it. Never thought it was cool. Just, I mean, obviously they've got hits. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I get it. But right. I just don't, I'm not going to I just don't listen to music like that. I never did. Weirdly, because I listen to like hardcore, which is not so far off.
Right.
You know?
Would you describe yourself as too cool for Guns N' Roses?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And I'm not, but I don't even think I'm that cool. I just think they're that uncool. Kind of like I'm not, it's not a big up to me. But again,
I feel like I could get Chris to do like some type of head banging ayahuasca ceremony where he finally like sees the light and is able to understand and enjoy 80s metal. Of all kinds.
80s, but even like Rage Against the Machine, I think all that shit's corny.
Right.
I just think it was all just like radio, like hair metal to me in some way, even though I know it's more nuanced than that. And a lot of people I love and respect really like it. But again, Guns N' Roses, Jason, you got into that when you were 10, right?
That's right, bitch. 7, suck my dick.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
that's what
they
I'm
rock.
saying.
There's no two ways around it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you are living in a Guns N' Roses list world.
They rock and they fuck, and I hate to say things fuck, but they also fuck.
Okay, August, how often are you putting Guns N' Roses on when you hit the treadmill? Come on.
Well, I think the main thing is that I'm never hitting the treadmill, so 0% of the time in my life.
When you say treadmill.
The treadmill of life, or the
what's your appetite for appetite, August?
I'm starving for appetite. I could eat it 5 courses. I love that shit, top to bottom. If you get like 9 beers in me, I will rant about appetite for like 30 minutes to no one's pleasure.
So this is something. Let's say I know you hate driving, but you would put on this kind of music in the car.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't hate driving. I hate being attached to driving. I hate it being the only way. Like, I love driving in New Hampshire because there's nothing. What else am I going to do? But in LA, going out, meeting friends, parking, that shit tires me. And that takes the thrill out of listening to Guns N' Roses.
I was about to say,
it's not cool to be in like.
I'd be tired too. I'd be tired too if I drove from Santa Monica to West Hollywood listening to Guns N' Roses. I'd be fucking exhausted. Like,
you want to feel the wind in your hair as you're smoking a cig out of the window on a hot summer night. Nothing but steers and queers out there, but in LA, bumper to bumper, it ain't the vibe.
I don't mind being cliche in that way. I think it's very fun to kind of just lean in and play master puppet as loud as you can.
I have my own stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't think
what's your great shame listen?
Jason will tell you.
Let me set this up, because in addition to Metallica, you also took a real 90-degree turn into Chris category, where you said you had a 30th birthday that was Fall Out Boy themed, Fallout Man, if you will. And now you have to convince a straight guy this time, me, to like Fallout Boy.
Well, I did call it my Fallout Mitzvah, which was not a joke that landed any time, but I'm saying it again now. I'm hoping that one person in the world will laugh after. Yeah, please.
Somebody likes that? Yeah.
Fallout Siniera. We're brainstorming. No wrong answers.
It's endless material. I think it would be the exact same thing. There's 0% chance I'm going to convince you. Like, do you guys, you don't like being corny is what I'm taking from this. I love the thrill of being corny. I think it's really fun.
No. Like I was saying, I think we all have our corny.
Okay.
Like, I think there's all things that Jason.
Yeah. What Chris and I are saying is that corn is a spectrum, honey.
Yes.
It's not just white and yellow. I have a little Native American in me, so my background in maize is a little more extensive than you guys.
He's a maize expert, whisperer, if you will. Yeah, he's a maze guy.
Put me in a maze, honey. I'm getting out.
Fall Out Boy. Look, Fall Out Boy is something because August. I used to manage a band that would like play with Fall Out Boy, so it's part of my history. And I would say they have 3 to 5 great songs. And
I agree.
They're fun live. And Pete Wentz needs to get a haircut. That's my full take on the
Pete.
on the
cut
whole
the hair.
situation.
Come on the pod. Stop cock teasing us.
Yeah, he won't come on the pod. But have you seen Fall Out Boy several times where he swings his bass around his body, does the spins?
He's really locked that down. It's unbelievable the grace in which with which he does that. I mean, how many hours do you think he spent practicing that? I mean, you gotta.
I think honestly, probably a lot.
Yeah,
probably.
How many P basses had to die? Have you seen there's a video recently of Springsteen himself, 80-year-old Springsteen, doing the guitar crabcore swing at a show like 2 weeks ago, and
I saw that.
That old guy still got it.
That'll be Pete Wentz in 40 years. I mean, that's a beautiful vision of the future.
Well, the thing about Fall Out Boy that's always so shocking to people that kind of stop paying attention is that they're arguably bigger than they ever have been today.
They've entered the Imagine Dragons sphere of popularity, right?
It's just like we sell out fucking arenas every night, every city.
Just like we're a utility. We're big enough to whatever city we come in America or the world. There's going to be 48,000 people who are like, I'll buy a ticket to that. Sounds awesome.
That's fucking wild.
There's nothing worse. Cool. I'm glad you brought up Imagine Dragons. There's truly nothing worse than Imagine Dragons. That's one of the all-time great worsts.
If you're in Imagine Dragons and you're listening to How Long Gone right now, we apologize, but it is also
except for I do think it's cool that the singer went viral in gay world for being so ripped. Because he took his shirt off and people didn't know, and he looked like he was chiseled from stone.
That is fucking awesome.
He looks
Pull
great.
out the meat though. I'm sick of imagining what his dragon looks like. Pull it out, Queen.
Wait, August, I feel like you've seen these photos. These photos hit your WhatsApp.
I have not actually, but this is great. I mean, the only body parts we've discussed is I have seen the photos of Pete Wentz's immense dong, and those live on in notoriety.
I forgot.
Don't lie. One of you has seen them. I'm not saying.
Oh, I've seen it for sure.
I've seen it fall out of the basketball shorts. I've seen that boy fall out of the basketball shorts.
That's a legendary. You should look.
Old Petey working with a monster.
Hey,
legendary. But
also, despite his look and height and whatever, it's sort of known that bass players are usually working with the sausage, right?
They're definitely
it's a big dick instrument in the band.
Salty toned up. They're keeping it packed.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. Jason's saying that because
did you say salchicha'd up? Well done, bravo, August. Bravo.
The only instrument Jason can play is like 2 Smashing Pumpkins songs on bass. So he's trying to kind of.
Wouldn't you know it? I'm a dazzling bass player, but also a bass player. You need big hands to hit those those notes.
Those wide frets.
That's true.
I know. Yeah.
Big frets.
Do you play an instrument, August?
Well, it's funny you both set me up so well because I did play bass. And just throwing that out there, detached.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't want to lie.
Yeah. Thank you for your honesty, August. Thank you for your bravery and your honesty. So you were slapping to bass. Were you in bands or were you just a hobbyist?
I was a hobbyist who played with friends sometimes. And it was kind of like how I was with writing for a really long time. I said I did it a lot more than I actually did it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that was being in I was in high school and I went to some band camps, which I know.
But that's every writer.
Yeah, 100%. It turns out the only way to write a book is to not be like that and to actually write. But that took me 10 years to figure out.
Well, I don't understand. Yeah, when can we kill the narrative from writers that it's like they act like they're. All of you guys, your community acts like they're fucking digging ditches out there, and I'm like, you're sitting in a Borum Hill 3-bedroom drinking a pour over with central AC.
We're digging the ditch of our mind, Chris. It's much harder to cultivate and excavate.
Writing a book is incredibly hard. It's probably one of the greatest accomplishments one can make. One can complete.
An accomplishment that you can complete while your feet are up on a mid-century modern desk and your iced matcha is on a coaster.
Yes.
Yeah,
I got you.
I mean,
exactly.
the terror of not knowing if you'll make money or like that kind of stuff. Like the unpaid part of it is a pain, but like my life is great. Like my day-to-day life is so fucking easy. I mean, I like write for 5 hours and then go on a walk listening to Guns N' Roses, and then come home and listen to Fall Out Boy. No, I'm kidding. But like I'm just like watching movies and hanging out with my friends and writing a book. Like that's so amazing. I think, yeah, the people who view it as this very arduous thing, you know, I don't know. It just seems a little self-congratulatory to me. I'm sure there are people who it's a true psychic pain for, but I don't know, man. It's not the coal mine.
Yeah, but the problem is if it's gonna be a psychic pain, that's fine. But you need to come with some goddamn Pulitzer heat. You can't complain about this and come out with a
the
YA
jest
novel.
better be infinite.
You know what I mean?
The jest better be infinite.
Yeah, the jest better be fucking infinite. It's just too. That's what I mean. It's like if you're gonna complain, it's like, all right, well, let's see what you got, Chief. Otherwise,
for sure, if you drop like a 900-page, like you're a Nobel type dude, and you're talking about the grueling, you know, whatever. But I mean, for someone like me, you know, I work really hard, but it's like, and my book, I think it's sad, so it's sad thinking about sad things, but like, Jesus, you know, how bad could it really be? I'm walking to the like fucking bar 2 blocks from my house right after and laughing with my friends for 5 hours. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's it. No, you have a good attitude. You're also done with your book, so maybe you're flying high right now.
For sure. I'll also, like, if you don't like writing, the people who are like, it tortures me, blah blah blah. I'm just like, just do something else. I don't know why. I like the act. Like it's hard, but whatever. I don't know, man. Just get a fucking different hobby.
Okay, well, when I guess if there's probably a lot of aspiring writers and actual writers listening to this right now. When you go to write this book that you've written, do you outline the entire story first and then break it down into chapters and things, or do you just start writing and see where it goes?
I just go hard from the beginning. No, I had like the vague
day one, you go hard in the paint and then it just works.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I'd say just go hard. No, like I knew that it would be like structurally as it is. I knew it would be in 3 different parts. I knew it would cover, you know, this kind of length of time. But in general, no, I have scenes I want to hit or like ideas that I think are cool, but I just kind of go in a little blind, and I think that's part of the fun. I think that's part of what makes it, like, you know, entertaining day in, day out. I feel like when I outline too much, I'm just like fulfilling some weird standard that I made for myself. It just seems like an insane way to do it.
Outlining is definitely for nerds. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary depending on, you know, who you are and how you want to.
Yeah, if you're a nerd.
I just feel like if I were to ever write a book, I would forget everything. I would forget everything. I would come up with a dope ass idea, and then, you know, 2 weeks later when it's time to write that, I'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why August keeps a tattered moleskin next to his bed so he can wake up from his nightmares and jot down.
Just like Slash.
Yes.
He wakes up.
Yes, exactly.
Pulls the groupie off of his hog and then goes, wait, hold on a second. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I am the Slash of contemporary literature, so thank you for saying that. That's really good. Yeah,
that's a good
listeners.
That's
I am
a way to really market
a stove. Hey Pat, they won't know, but yeah,
that's a real selling.
I'll let Paris Review know that you're wearing a full size top hat right now.
Hi, the Drift. This is how long gone. He's wearing a hat, a full size. A full-size hat.
Okay, well that gives me hope that you just go hard and just let it rip. Do you ever use any mind-altering substances in the creative process?
Like while I'm writing, or just in my day-to-day life related? Or
I know you use them in your day-to-day life. I think he means while you're writing. I think he means
maybe while you're writing. And that, I'm not saying do you hit a bong or microdose mushrooms to get creative, but I mean it could be anything.
No, not really. I mean, you know, like
Mr. Brownstone.
Like all, you know, young people that were in college at some point, I've definitely taken some Adderall in my day, but it doesn't actually lead to great writing. It leads to kind of like robotic, like cold writing. So no, it would be cool, I guess, to be able to write when I was inebriated, I guess, but no, I never do. It's just always awful.
So you don't come back from the local watering hole after a couple bumps and brewskis and just sit down and get to it.
Fuck no. Whenever I write after I've had a drink, it is just like so bad, and I'm so bored, and it's really awful. It's another writer cliche I simply don't understand.
Bad and boring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, do you ever work while inebriated? I know, or have you ever?
Definitely.
I think one of you is off the hooch. Yeah,
I'm sober, but
right.
I never did anything constructive on drugs. Well, I mean,
Right.
I lived my whole life on drugs for years, but I don't know if I didn't necessarily accomplish anything. Is what I'm trying to. I never finished anything.
Got it. Okay.
I never finished. Well, that's not true. I did successfully finish. No, nothing. Never mind.
Started a lot of dope projects, though.
I started a lot of dope projects.
He did podcasting.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, I hope you finish them one day.
Yeah.
My advice would be go hard.
Thank you. Honestly, August, that's similar advice that I would give to someone when they ask about how does it work. It's like, I don't know, dude. You just do it, I guess. I don't really know what. It's not as complicated as people want to make it seem, you know. Jason loves to do.
That is the
Jason gets fucked up before everything. Actually, he's probably fucked up right now.
I'm not.
It's 9 a.m.
It's 9 a.m. here
in LA. Yeah.
But I like the
yeah.
I'm not a huge writer, but I do some writing. But I like the idea of writing a bit inebriated just for the initial ideation, just to spark, the drop of life from nothing, and then go back and edit with a sober, sound mind.
You're on your Hemingway game, That's you're a man's man. It's clear.
Yeah,
it's clear to all of us.
That's exactly
who's that?
Yeah. He's like Ernst. I don't know him. He's a writer. He said, They got him at Barnes and Noble. I'll go check it out.
I met his granddaughter on a flight one time. He sounds like a dope author.
Yeah, he's got hot grandchildren. He must be good at writing.
Biden theory.
He must be
right. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
he must be a good one. That is okay. So because there's a lot of partying in the book.
I've done a good deal of partying. Yeah,
and that's the part that I was going to say. As a person who's also done quite a bit of partying, it feels autobiographical. It feels first person.
There was a lot of research done. Yeah. About a decade of research, just, 5 nights a week going at it. No, I certainly have imbibed, and I still like to imbibe. I'm not going to pretend I'm above it, but, I hope that felt authentic, because I actually think reading
it
about
did. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think when you've done a lot of drugs and then you read somebody write about drugs, you can instantly tell if they've actually done it or if they are writing true fiction. You can instantly
if it's coming
tell.
from a place of authenticity.
Yes. I think nerds writing about doing drugs is it's very embarrassing. And I feel the same way about concert scenes. So the concert scene in my book that I hope, sort of pulls it off a little bit. But there are just real signifiers of someone like not having really gone out in the world too much and lived a life. When you're writing it,
I think also that the relationship is pretty like modern. I feel like the way that the character, he's like in love with this guy, then he's got a girlfriend, he's still in love with the guy. That feels like something you just don't see that much except on like ID's Instagram. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't seem like a real thing. You've
never seen Euphoria, Chris?
No, but that's what I mean. It doesn't seem like it's never presented in like a realistic way. It's presented in more of a fantasy way, I think, is what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that was part of like just tying back to not planning things out. There's for those who haven't read, including half of the podcast, there's 2 love interests, Jake being the main one, and then Lou is this woman that the main character meets when he's in his early 20s.
Lou seems like a real bitch, but I get it.
I'm very pro Lou.
The apartment's nice. The apartment's nice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the body's looking like, but the apartment's nice. I mean, that's, it could be worse.
Hey, Lou's a hot topic. You're either in or you're out, but I had not imagined her to be a part of the book whatsoever until I started that section, until I was about 50% of the way through. Yeah, she just sort of like, I needed someone for the main character to talk to. So she was sort of this utility. And then once she became a character, I think it really helped the book like expand and kind of talk about what you're saying of like these, what I view as more contemporary, like people having these really complicated relationships with people of different genders and like fidelity and sort of how it is to be like fucking multiple people and being in love with multiple people and all that kind of stuff.
Nothing like being a rich 28-year-old, live like, almost ODing in a bathtub in your brownstone. That's what New York is about. That's what New York is about. God damn it.
Sadly, it really, really is.
Am I just a utility to you?
That's funny though that I mean that's interesting because it feels like a pretty big part of the story. So it's crazy that it just kind of came to you halfway through, that like it was necessary.
Yeah, it was dope. I think it helped turn the book from kind of a more recognizable coming of age queer, like, whatever story into something that I view as a little more complicated. And yeah, I hope good. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll bring a lot of gay metal enthusiasts out of the woodworks, hopefully. You know what I mean? They're there bubbling underneath the surface.
Those guys, they need a voice. You know what I'm saying? They've been.
It's me and Rob Halford just holding it down. We're peas in a pod for sure. Yeah,
yeah, sure. You're kind of 1 and 2 on the list.
I'm waiting him out. As soon as he's gone.
How metally do you get? Are we going deep Norwegian black metal? Are we going real wild stuff, or are you kind of fastball down the middle?
I think I'm pretty fastball down the middle. I think, I also just like don't discover new music almost at all anymore. I don't know where you guys are in your lives.
Have you checked out Spotify? They do some kind of great algorithmic recommendations if you're interested. They keep recommending me, like, do you know this the genre gent or whatever it is? DJENT. It's like, do you know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
It's like basically drop down like every single like string to be as sludgy as possible, and
I'm out.
Most of it is absolute ass. So they're feeding me stuff like that, and I'm good. So I would say I'm pretty all American basic when it comes to my metal taste. But that's like the dopest part of being a little bit older. Is I have nothing to prove anymore. Like, I don't give a shit about seeming like I have cool music taste. I mean, I was obsessed.
I keep up. I mean, we just part of our job is to keep up. So I think it's we talk to so many musicians, and also I just like it. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you stop, it's really hard to start again.
But also, if you come from the great, you're like, okay, this is good, but is it better than Sabbath?
Right.
No. So what? Oh, I'm just gonna go listen to Black. Does it rock harder than Lemmy? Probably not. I'll just listen to Motorhead.
That's how. Yeah. Is it sadder? Is it sadder than Elliott Smith? I didn't think so. I know where to go.
It's easy to get stuck. I mean, I don't know, and I can't think of the last album I like went apeshit over that. I'm also a huge like hip hop person, and like half of the good rappers died or became cancelable in the last like 5 years.
Was it Chief Keef Almighty So too?
I am a huge Chief Keef head, I'm not gonna lie, but
we all are. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home again.
Yes, we made it.
Welcome home.
Suddenly this pod is
Chris doesn't realize Chief Keef's greatness as much as I do.
Oh.
But I'm glad you're an ally.
Something I saw this week, which made me really think hard, was that somebody tweeted the only person who's really gotten canceled is DaBaby, and it's kind of true.
Whoa, where did he go? What happened to that man?
No, honestly, it's kind of true. He was huge. Didn't he do a song with Dua Lipa? He had like he was like doing shit like that. Like he was doing wild shit.
He was on the Dua Lipa remix, and then the label removed him from that remix. He's no longer found on Spotify.
Wow.
I'm sure he can still get 20K for a walkthrough in Charlotte, but the real success,
I don't know.
He's back to regional.
I think he's been canceled by the zeitgeist, not by a person or the police.
It's just an interesting.
It's just like the entire world is like, I'm all set on DaBaby
to make it to make it that far as like when you start getting put on like the pop remix, that's hallowed ground. That's very, very rare.
100%
to fuck that up.
I mean, with Dua Lipa, there's probably been like 3 other rappers or something like that. So he really blew it, man. I mean, that's got to be hard to watch.
He really blew it. Yeah. What did he? I don't remember what he did. To be honest, I don't remember what he did.
Probably something terrible. But I also agree with Jason that like I think everyone was like, also this guy's kind of lame. Like it was both.
Yeah,
like,
he is lame.
Something immoral and realizing that he uses the same flow for every single verse.
If you're lame and you do something, it's very easy for people to forget you.
Well, yeah, knives are out.
Yeah, he was like a matcha pancake or something like that. Like where it comes out, everyone's like, oh, this is cool and new and dope, and then a month later, they're like, I'm just gonna have regular pancake.
Yeah,
it's better. I don't need this. You know what I mean? It's very novel, fly by night flow, and we were all like, no. And also, DaBaby scaring the host, which is not. You can't take a risk like that in 2024.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, Lil Baby won. we're living in Lil Baby's world, and DaBaby's out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if there's a baby battle,
it's done. Daycare's out.
You mentioned seeing a lot of movies, liking going out to the movies with your friends and family before and after the bar. Chris is sort of a known. He's coming around. He said earlier in the intro, with his older age, he's becoming more open-minded to things. He's starting to do things like watch movies. But beforehand, he was very, he wants.
I'm anti-movie.
He's anti-movie, cinema, box offices. He says close the box office indefinitely. What do you think the future of movie theater IRL attendance is? I know a lot, like friend of our show, John Early, is very adamant about trying to get people to go see films in the theaters so they don't go away.
August, are you a member of the Alamo Draft House loyalty program or not?
I am. I'm a member of that. It's walking distance. And you know what I love?
Yeah, the Alamo is his Alamo.
I love getting to the third act of a sad movie like Moonlight, and that someone eating a blue cheese salad right next to you. I find that to be very sort of cohesive. It's really beautiful.
I told this story on the podcast, but I remember seeing Moonlight at Angelica, and it was like long after after it won the award and everything.
Right.
And the guy behind me, like 45 minutes in, was like, yeah, I can't take no more of this gay shit, and got up and left. And I was like, damn, we're in Manhattan. This is so cool. This is crazy that this just happened.
What did you think this was going to be about?
Also at the Angelica, like
I know.
Like a homophobe is pulling up to the Angelica. Like you have to look for that theater.
There's not a gayer theater than Angelica. Well, there are, but you can jerk off in them legally. This is as far as like corporate movie theaters. You know what I mean?
For standard film programming.
Yeah.
That's absolutely.
But you're saying you don't. So you like sad movies?
I like them all. I really do love going to the movies more than anything. It's probably my favorite thing to do. So what happened to you that you don't like going to the movies? Do you feel like you're bored?
Yeah. The devices destroyed his attention.
Yeah.
Span.
I never was like, we didn't do that as like a family. That wasn't like part of my life really. I mean, I've seen all the stuff I need to see, except like, I don't know, Titanic and Star Wars and kind of all that stuff. But I just don't. I can't.
But he's also a voracious reader. His attention span is able to stay attuned for the page.
There's something where I think visual entertainment, I want only reality TV. That's what I want, like that kind of thing, or like a sports documentary. I don't even like sports. And then if I'm going to spend my time doing something that enriches me, I think that should be reading. And I know it all can work that way. I'm just an idiot, but that's how
he'll even watch a female sports documentary. That's how much.
That's how dark I'm willing to go.
But you've never seen the sport itself. You just know.
No, I've seen the sport itself. I'm talking particularly. There's been several like really good kind of Netflix, like a Tour de France one about it's like stuff like that. It's
golf.
All very interesting because I like to watch people
quarterback F1.
I like to watch people work out is what it comes out to.
Yeah, you're living vicariously.
Not in that way. Don't look at me like that. Just
he'll even watch a woman work out.
I saw Challengers and I liked it.
I love that movie. I mean,
but every movie could be 30 minutes less.
That's very true. I think the 1 hour 45-minute movie is like ideal. It's like the 280-page book. There's kind of these.
That's what we grew. That's also what we grew up with.
100%.
Like an hour and a half, hour 45 was what everything was.
It's insane that you have like a 3 hour or like a 2 hour 45-minute like Fast and Furious movie. Like I just don't. I like dumb action movies, but that is so long. That's like a whole day. You leave the theater and like
keep the 3 hours for the Killers of the Flower Moons, those epic Oppenheimer tales. But if it's about how a robot fights a car, we can keep it under 2. We can keep that one under 2.
100%.
And if we have no doubt that the good guys are going to beat the bad guys, we can keep it under 2 and let's move. But my theory, or like what I like to prescribe to in the movies world. I disagree with Chris, but I also agree with him in that I only watch films on the airplane now.
Oh.
And because of that, when I see that 3 hour and 18-minute runtime, I say, the more the merrier, bring on the slop, because I got nothing but time to kill.
What do you think the best airplane movie you've seen is? Because it's a specific genre of like a movie I would only watch on a plane. because it wasn't good enough to see in the theater, but I end up kind of like loving it. Like I saw No Hard Feelings, the Jennifer Lawrence movie. And it was like I had like, you know, it was like a half pint of thin in, and I'd had like 3 glasses of wine, and I forget what I was saying. I was like, this is so fucking delightful. This is great.
Perfect. That's a perfect airplane movie.
Yeah. What was your last great one?
Last great one. I mean, I often return to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as it's a movie that I would see in the theaters as well, but it's a great plane movie because it's long. It has a little bit of everything. But the last great plane movie I saw was Catch Me If You Can, because it's airplane related, but also, you know, early young Leo when he's hot. Tom Hanks chasing him all over the country. Just
Tom Hanks at his peak hot. Tom Hanks.
I've never seen that actually.
Not a film that I would need to go run to the AMC cinema and see it in 4DX IMAX, but comes on the plane and you're like, what a film. Everything I needed. I'll take another glass of Chardonnay, please.
Jason went through a phase where he watched Tar like 3 times in a row.
Also a great plane movie.
I ride for Tar, so you're in good company.
I liked Tar. I saw Tar and I did like Tar, but I was just like I think we were on tour and I would just look at his screen every time we were on the plane.
Look at my screen.
Like 8 flights.
I'm walking down the aisle with my accordion. Apartment for sale. I was tarred up.
I was tarred
the tackle
up, tarred and
the
feathered.
tackle in Tar where she just decks that dude, the other conductor, is not talked about enough. That was a clean tackle. That was great form. You know, she just ripped it up.
Clean hit's a clean hit.
Yeah.
How many takes do you think that took, or do you think it was just off rip? She's 3-point stance, bang bang.
I feel like Kate Blanchett's got enough of the darkness within her that she probably was like, we could go for another. You know, she was running a few unnecessary ones, like a David
wipes
Fincher
the blood
thing.
from her mouth. We'll do it again.
Let's do it. We'll do it again. It's fine. We'll do it again.
100%.
Her stunt person.
Yeah,
most likely.
So you're going to the theater now. Do you go? If I go to the movies, I of course prefer to go alone, like a civilized adult.
Definitely.
As a cinephile, do you agree? And what's the snack? Are you having junior mints? What's going on?
Dude, I'm so cheap. I sneak in stuff. I usually go like a peanut M&M like bag, and then like sometimes a Coke if I'm feeling frisky, or a sparkling water. Yeah, I'm a real man of luxury over here.
Where do you put the Coke in your pants? Sock?
Well, they said I played the bass, so I played the bass. No one can tell the difference. Okay. But I
Say no more. Say no more, my friend.
No, I'll bring a shirt and I bundle it around my snacks and I sort of carry it like
that's
this.
Smart.
Yeah. I've got
that's
technique.
Smart. You got the flannel, and it's just it's encasing your 2 liter of soda.
Now that you 2 liter, and also when you go to a film alone, you're able to walk out at any given moment without any hesitation or worry that your seatmate. But speaking of smuggling in snacks into a theater, I believe your book has a decent amount of shoplifting in play. And I was wondering if that's autobiographical, and if so, do you steal out of a control thing, or is it a poor thing?
I actually was always way too scared to steal. I thought it was so cool. So I stole like these things that were called Crazy Bones. This was like a fad game from my childhood where you would like flick little plastic freaks at each other. I stole some of those.
We're familiar with Crazy Bones.
Okay, we're in a Crazy Bone safe environment. I was racked with guilt for that about like 6 months after, so I was not a big shoplifter at all. Did you guys steal? Do you? Okay. Do you? Well, I guess you can't say you do currently because you're rich and famous.
I would say I was a semi-professional shoplifter the later years of my teens. I made a living stealing. And
what were you taking? Like clothes or what?
There was some diesel jeans, of course. From
what do you need, August? What do you need?
Nordstrom. Yeah. What do you need? But my big haul was often air conditioning units, like window units, because I would just confidently wheel them out of Home Depot and no one would say anything.
Okay.
And all of my friends at the time were living in these warehouses where they built their own rooms. They all needed AC units.
Wow.
So it's half off.
I'm over here like, I thought you were doing Oxycontin, not meth.
No,
what are you doing stealing air conditioners?
No, this was before this. I was straight edge. That's the best part of all of this.
So you were looking for a thrill.
This is before we realized that like security guards can't do anything.
Right.
You know, which is like the whole issue now is that like they just have to watch, you know, unless the vigilantes stop you, you're getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're one good guy with a gun away from getting murdered over an AC unit. So, you know.
How did you know that's what Jason calls me? That's so cute.
Yeah, I
nice of you.
still be shoplifting to this day, but small stuff, not air conditioning unit. It's more of like this organic cilantro is actually being rung up as not organic at checkout. That's 39 cents going back into my wallet.
I'll shoplift to skip a line. That's like I'm a convenience shoplifter. Like if there's a long line at the Walgreens and I'm buying a water, like sometimes I'll just walk out.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like, it's $1. I'm going to be here for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This water's mine now. But yeah, I live on the edge.
Yeah, sometimes I like to do that. I like to do that. I like to live on the edge sometimes at the airport where my flight's about to board.
Yeah.
And I'll go into the Hudson and grab that nice smart water, look around like, oh, and then run over to the gate just as the door's closing. Oh my, did I forget to pay? I'll get you the next time.
No, Hudson News.
And then they close the doors. And
anywhere there's a self-checkout, to be honest, they deserve it.
Yeah. That's anti-labor. You know, they're getting taken down one way or the other. Employ your people. You know, then I won't have to rob you.
So what are we doing with this book? Are we going to sell it to a studio? Who's making the movie? Is it a TV show?
Hulu sniffing around? I got Hulu.
Hulu sniffing around.
Somebody wants it.
I hope somebody will want it. Then I can buy the snacks at the Alamo. Then I can get my own blue cheese salad. So
but you have several agents, I'm sure.
I do have several agents. Yeah, they're working overtime. You know.
Yeah, we know how hard agents work. I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're checking their Gmail twice a day easily.
Minimum twice a day.
Yeah,
waiting for some inbound.
Unless the swell is super good, then I'm kind of like I can't.
I'm sure you've been asked this question a lot on your press run. So I apologize in advance if you've been, but we always ask the dream casting if it were to go. Who playing who? This is a
toughie. I mean, I would love. If I could time travel and have River Phoenix in there as Jake as the love interest, I think he would be really perfect.
That's really good.
Who's today's River?
We don't have one.
We don't have a River, do we?
No,
that's the whole thing.
We need a hot, cool guy that's got a little bit of an edge. You know, I don't like the.
I'm right here, August. I'm right here. I don't act, but I have everything else.
Sorry, Chris, a young person. Could we?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you ever look at Jacob Elordi and think I could fix him? But by ruining him,
I think he could fix me. No, he's too large. He's so large. I simply can't.
He is too large.
He's too large. I'm sorry, Jacob Elordi. You seem like a great guy, but get on the court.
Mm-hmm. River's a good call.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but it's I could see that too.
Okay. Well, look, our casting agent listenership is rifling through the River Rolodex right now, seeing who we got.
There could be some unknown, up and comers that we get for a cheap price.
I think we might have to go unknown. A little dirt under the nails.
The studios love making a gay movie with unknowns. That's how they get their big
from
budget.
A first time author. Oh man, what a security blanket.
That's an easy 40 mil from what I understand.
Yeah,
we're gonna pass on Timothy and go for more of an unknown.
We love an unknown. I mean, look, if the first, if you got to suck dick on camera, baby, some people ain't willing. Even if the intimacy coordinator is there.
You're known now. Yeah, you just got brown bunnied, honey. So get comfy.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Is there a role for Vinny Gallo on here somewhere? Speaking of the bun.
I don't think so, man. What is he up to? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know if I need to know.
He sells
sex with minors.
He sells weird ephemera of his own on his own website.
Oh, does he sell dicks? His own dick? Is that what it is? Or
I mean, he might do that privately.
He's like a male e-girl. He's like selling underwear and socks and shit on. Do you want to buy this coffee
but it's
mug?
like signed. Yeah. It's like that.
Okay. Well,
cool. I can see where your advance is going. All right, August, thanks for joining us. Thanks for
having me.
It was a pleasure. Guys, the book, Anyone's Ghost, is out everywhere you get books. So go to your local bookseller. Go to Amazon.com. Fuck it. Go to Barnes & Noble.
Steal this book, you guys.
Borders.
Support labor.
Borders if you got one. It's really great. I fully endorse it. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on. Yeah. Have a good one.
All right, man.
Catch you later.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. All right, later.
Thanks, August.